Das deutsche Reich! Siegsreich! Überform! Du unterhaltest! Ist es der?
Do you know who the Adolf Hitler was? If not, then stay with us to discover his life, political achievements, and how he became Chancellor of Germany. The story of Adolf Hitler is one of the most controversial and tragic chapters in modern world history. His rise from a struggling young man in Austria to the dictator of Germany reshaped Europe and led to one of the deadliest conflicts in human history. Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889, in the small border town of Braunau am Inn, located near the German frontier. His father, Alois Hitler, was a strict customs official, while his mother, Clara Hitler, was known for her deep affection toward her son. Hitler's childhood was marked by tension with his father, who wanted him to pursue a stable government career, while Hitler dreamed of becoming an artist. After the death of his parents, Hitler moved to Vienna, where he attempted to build a career in art. However, he was rejected by the Academy of Fine Arts Vienna, a moment that deeply affected him. During his years in Vienna, Hitler struggled financially and lived in poverty. At the same time, he was exposed to intense nationalist and anti-Semitic political ideas that were common in the city at the time. These experiences played a significant role in shaping his worldview. In 1913, Hitler moved to Munich, and soon afterward, the world was engulfed in the catastrophe of World War I. Hitler volunteered to serve in the German army and spent much of the war as a messenger on the Western Front. He witnessed brutal fighting and developed a strong sense of loyalty to Germany. For his service, he was awarded the Iron Cross, a military decoration for bravery. When Germany was defeated in 1918, the event shocked and devastated many Germans, including Hitler. The terms of the Treaty of Versailles imposed severe territorial losses, military restrictions, and financial reparations on Germany. Hitler later used public resentment toward this treaty to gain political support. After the war, Germany faced political chaos and economic hardship. In 1919, Hitler joined a small political group known as the German Workers' Party. His talent for public speaking quickly made him one of the party's most prominent figures. The party was later renamed the Nazi Party, and Hitler promoted a powerful message of nationalism, anti-communism, and opposition to the Versailles Treaty. In 1923, Hitler attempted to seize power in a dramatic event known as the Beer Hall Putsch. Inspired by other authoritarian movements in Europe, Hitler and his supporters tried to overthrow the Bavarian government in Munich. However, the attempt failed, and Hitler was arrested. During his imprisonment at Landsberg prison, he wrote his political manifesto, Mein Kampf. In this book, Hitler outlined his extreme nationalist ideology, his belief in racial superiority, and his plan to expand German territory. After his release from prison, Hitler reorganized the Nazi Party and began to pursue power through political means rather than violent revolution. The opportunity came during the economic crisis of the Great Depression, which devastated Germany's economy. Massive unemployment and political instability made many Germans desperate for strong leadership. Through powerful propaganda campaigns, mass rallies, and political organization, the Nazi Party gained increasing support. In 1933, Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany. Shortly afterward, a mysterious fire destroyed the German parliament building in an event known as the Reichstag fire. Hitler used this crisis to claim that Germany was under threat from communists. Soon after, the German parliament passed the Enabling Act, allowing Hitler to rule without parliamentary approval. This effectively ended Germany's democratic system. Hitler quickly consolidated his power. Political opponents were arrested, newspapers were censored, and all other political parties were banned. In 1934, he eliminated rivals within his own movement during the Night of the Long Knives. Later that same year, after the death of Paul von Hindenburg, Hitler merged the positions of president and chancellor and declared himself Führer, meaning supreme leader of Germany.
Das Deutsche Reich! Kriegsreich!
During the early years of his rule, Hitler introduced large infrastructure projects and economic policies that reduced unemployment. At the same time, he secretly began rebuilding Germany's military in violation of the Versailles Treaty. In 1936, German troops reoccupied the Rhineland, an area that had been demilitarized after World War I. Hitler then pursued aggressive territorial expansion. In 1938, Germany annexed Austria in the event known as the Anschluss. Later that year, Germany also gained control of parts of Czechoslovakia. These moves increased Hitler's popularity within Germany, but alarmed other European nations. The situation reached a breaking point in 1939 when Germany invaded Poland. This invasion triggered World War II, as Britain and France declared war on Germany. In the early years of the war, German forces achieved rapid victories across Europe, conquering countries such as France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. However, Hitler's ambitions continued to grow. In 1941, he launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest military invasion in history. Initially successful, the campaign eventually stalled due to fierce Soviet resistance and harsh winter conditions. One of the most decisive turning points occurred during the Battle of Stalingrad, where German forces suffered a catastrophic defeat. Meanwhile, the Nazi regime also carried out the Holocaust, a systematic campaign of persecution and genocide that led to the deaths of millions of Jews and other targeted groups across Europe. This remains one of the darkest human massacres in human history. By 1944, the tide of the war had turned against Germany. Allied forces launched the D-Day, opening a Western front against Nazi Germany. As Allied armies advanced from the west and Soviet forces pushed from the east, Germany's defeat became inevitable. In early 1945, Soviet forces approached the German capital Berlin. Hitler retreated to an underground bunker known as the Führer bunker, where he spent the final weeks of his life directing a collapsing war effort. On April 29, 1945, he married his longtime companion Eva Braun. The following day, on April 30, 1945, Hitler and Eva Braun died by suicide inside the bunker as Soviet troops closed in on the city. Just days later, Germany surrendered, bringing an end to World War II in Europe. Hitler's rule left behind immense destruction, millions of deaths, and a legacy that continues to shape global discussions about dictatorship, extremism, and the dangers of unchecked political power. The story of Adolf Hitler remains a powerful reminder of how political instability, economic crisis, and extremist ideology can combine to produce catastrophic consequences for humanity.
Share the video and subscribe the channel for amazing updates.